Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Human K channel. Howard Gardner is a well-known American psychologist and professor. His idea of multiple intelligences has had a big effect on the field. People know him for his research on how people think, learn, and get better. Gardner wrote about the idea of multiple intelligences in his 1983 book, Frames of Mind, The Theory of Multiple Intelligences. His theory says that intelligence is not a single, unified thing that can be measured by normal IQ tests but rather a group of different cognitive skills that people have in different amounts. Gardner first thought of 7 intelligences: verbal, logical, mathematical, artistic, bodily, kinesthetic, spatial, interpersonal, and intrapersonal. He added more intelligences to the list later, such as rational intelligence and existential intelligence. People are said to have verbal or linguistic intelligence if they can understand and use words and languages. It includes reading, writing, speaking, and other ways of communicating orally and in writing. Intelligence in logic and math means being able to work with data, spot patterns, and think in terms of deductive and inductive reasoning. People who are good at this intelligence are good at fixing problems and thinking scientifically. Visual and spatial intelligence is about being able to make mental models and change them. These people are very good at visual thought, using their imagination, and making art. The focus of bodily or kinesthetic intelligence is on how the body can be used to process knowledge. These people enjoy being active, playing sports, and making expressive moves. Understanding and interpreting music are at the heart of musical intelligence. These people have a natural talent for making music, playing it, and enjoying it. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability to understand and react to how other people feel, what drives them, and what they do. These people are great at talking to others and understanding them. Intrapersonal intelligence is about being aware of yourself and knowing your feelings, goals, and skills. Naturalistic intelligence is the ability to recognize and sort things in nature, like plants, animals, and rocks. These people care a lot about their surroundings and can see patterns and links. Existential intelligence, which is not widely accepted in the area of education, looks at questions about life, death, and being alive. People often think of thinkers and religious leaders as having this kind of intelligence. Even though Howard Gardner's idea is becoming more popular, it's important to look at these criticisms carefully. One of the most common arguments against the idea of multiple intelligences is that there isn't enough proof to back it up. Some people in the field of psychometric tests say that there is only one type of general intelligence, called the Spearman G factor. They say that different brain tests can be used to measure this factor. Being intelligent in general is like being in good shape. Even if someone is good at running, that doesn't mean they are also good at figure skating. But because this person is busy and in good shape, they will probably do much better at other physical jobs than someone who is less coordinated and sits around more. Also in the 1940s, Raymond Cattell proposed 2 types of intelligence: fluid intelligence, GF, and crystallized intelligence, GC. Fluid intelligence is the intelligence we are born with and add to as we learn more about the world. On the other hand, crystallized intelligence is the knowledge and intelligence we get from our society. Researchers have found more types of general intelligence, which are sometimes called the Gs of intelligence. These are general memory and learning, GY, broad visual perception, GV, broad hearing perception, GU, broad recall ability, GR, broad cognitive speed, Gs, and reaction time, GT. People think that general knowledge is made up of a few important parts. These include fluid reasoning, which involves flexible thinking and problem-solving abilities; knowledge, which is a person's general understanding of a wide range of topics; quantitative reasoning, which is the capacity to solve problems involving numbers; visual spatial processing, which relates to interpreting and manipulating visual information; and working memory, which involves using short-term memory to retain and manipulate information. Many current tests of intelligence try to measure the kinds of thinking skills that make up general intelligence. Most of the time, these tests give a single number, like an IQ score, that shows how smart someone is. The Stanford Binet, which is one of the most well-known tests of intelligence, measures the G factor. It gives you a score for the whole test as well as points for each part. Scores on IQ tests can show how smart someone is. Even though there are different ways to score, many tests have an average score of 100. Gardner responds to this argument by admitting that the G-factor exists, but he says that it is a sign of mathematical and logical intelligence. He thinks that his theory is based on studies about savants and how damage to the brain can affect certain skills or intelligences. Savant syndrome is a fascinating condition in which people with serious mental disabilities, like autism, have extraordinary skills in some areas that stand in stark contrast to their general disability. One well-known case is Kim Peek. He was the inspiration for the character Raymond Babbitt in the movie, Rain Man. Kim had a severe intellectual disability and had trouble getting along with other people, but he had a great memory that helped him remember a lot of what he had read. He knew things about writing, history, and geography, among other things. Take the story of blind Derek Paravicini, who has a hard time learning. He is very good at singing. Even though he has these problems, Derek can play hard pieces of music on the piano after hearing them only once. His singing skills are truly amazing. Savant abilities can manifest in different fields. Some people are very good at art and can make very detailed drawings or paintings. Some people might be very good at math and be able to quickly and correctly figure out difficult calculations. Some savants are very good at things like finding out dates or speaking more than one language. Another frequent criticism is that the theory of multiple intelligences is seen as politically correct and meant to make people feel better about themselves and give them hope if they aren't good at school. Critics say that everyone's mind can't be made the same. Critics say that the idea of multiple intelligences doesn't have enough studies to back it up. They point out that there isn't much evidence to back up the theory and that psychometricians and standard psychologists aren't very interested in it. Gardner's critics point to data that shows the human brain does not work the way Gardner says it does. They point to the links between subskills in IQ tests, the fact that different cognitive processes use the same neural pathways, and the fact that there is no good explanation for how these intelligences came to be. It's important to think about both what's good about an idea and what's bad about it. The idea of multiple intelligences has a lot of supporters, but there are also good reasons to doubt it. By looking at these criticisms, we can learn more about how complicated intelligence is and how to measure it.